Hi, journal. Hello, hello. It is 3:35 a.m. Monday, February 9th, 2026. And sit back, relax, and enjoy the read. So I'm doing something different today, and I was writing today. It's Happy Black History Month. I was doing a lot of research on Black history. It didn't I didn't mean for it to start out that way. It just ended up that way. I've been doing like a lot of reading and writing for the past 6 or 8 hours about. I don't know. I just got really lost in the sauce and I lost track of time. And next thing you know, I thought I was writing a post and then it became too long to be a post. So I thought it was going to be a description that I was going to attach to a video. And now it's a script that I'm going to read for a video. I think it's quite fitting that the first video that I'm doing is going to be on Black history, considering it is now Black History Month. So I'm just going to get right to it, and I'm going to post basically the script in the description, and I'm also going to post the references that I used to write this. I don't even know what to call it. I don't want to really call it an essay. It's just my journal. It's bullet points, basically. Anyway, I have the references. If I can't figure out how links in the description work, then I'm also going to say the articles and which where I found them at. Basically the name of the publisher and the article title. Publisher? The author of the article, or the website. The website. Yeah. Anyway. Let's get started. Since the dawn of time, territory/land has been fought and killed over for a variety of reasons. Not just by humans, but by many animals and creatures that exist and predate human history. Those fighting to keep their territory are well within their rights to do so. It's only natural to defend one's home regardless of the way it was acquired. Land changes ownership all the time, however, that doesn't mean everything done in the process is warranted. Humans have always been humans. I will not sugarcoat and justify who we've been in the past, but I also won't disregard the wonderful things we've done and created. Humans have always been capable of beautiful and terrible things. That's the duality of mankind. When we shine a light on our darkness, it can be terrifying to see what we've done and who we are, but we also have the ability to acknowledge it and do what we can to fix it. We get to choose how we move forward after seeing our shadow. Do we pretend like it doesn't exist until it gets worse? Do we slap a band-aid over it until it no longer works? Or do we actually get to the root of the problem? Treating a symptom does not solve the problem. It's still likely to happen again and again if we keep trying to cover it up. Even if it's deep, we have to get down to the source or we'll never learn. I'm a Black woman in the U.S., so this is what I'll speak on. The pain and horror experienced here does not take away from the pain and horror that happened elsewhere. The chattel slavery in the U.S. was horrific and devastating. The levels of hatred, rage, and cruelty that was inflicted on people seen as less than human had catastrophic consequences. Black slaves were considered property by white Americans to do with as they pleased. It's easier to abuse people after demonizing and dehumanizing them. It helps explain and rationalize their savagery. We were raped, bred, and branded like cattle, eaten, beaten, and murdered. We were stripped of our names, our identities, and our rights as human beings. We worked tirelessly, performing grueling tasks without reprieve. We were torn away from our families in most cases, never to be seen again, to be sold and exploited. We were lynched for entertainment, tortured and disfigured as punishment, subjected to the whims and passing fancies of white Americans. We were turned into clothes, furniture, and ornaments. Black babies were used as alligator bait, and I still hear people say slavery wasn't that big a deal. After the end of slavery, these things didn't stop happening, they just took on a different form. The Jim Crow era and the KKK rose to power to once again trample over Black Americans, hiding behind the mantra separate but equal, while the Black community was disparaged openly and behind the scenes. The resources, services, facilities, and treatments that was supposed to be equal was rife with disparities. The story of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old African-American boy from Chicago. His story was one that shook the nation. It also traumatized and motivated the Black community across generations. On August 28, 1955, that boy was brutally murdered while visiting Mississippi. He was dragged from his bed, beaten to the point of being unrecognizable, shot in the head, and tossed in the Tallahatchie River, weighed down by a cotton gin fan with barbed wire around his neck. How could something like this happen? I'll tell you. It's because he was Black. It doesn't matter how old you are or what gender you are when you're born Black in the U.S. A white woman, Carolyn Bryant, lied on this young boy. She claimed he made advances on her and spoke to her with vulgar language. She didn't confess the truth until 60 or so years later at 82 years old that those events never happened. And the two men, Roy Bryant and J.W. Millam, that brutalized and murdered Emmett Till went on to gloat and get away with their crime scot-free, acquitted by an all-white male jury. They even made money off this murder by selling their story for $4,000. Mamie Till Mobley, Emmett Till's mother, insisted on an open casket funeral, showing the world the injustice and cruelty inflicted on Black Americans. If they acknowledge Black Americans, they have to acknowledge what happened to us, and that's terrifying. That means facing the shadow behind them. That shadow they fear so much they hate it. That shadow is the underbelly of the beast, the most vulnerable area on a person, and they hate that it's their weakness. They hate what could happen if it were exposed. This is the history that people try to minimize and erase because it was horrific. Our country today is like a narcissistic and abusive parent that tries to gaslight us into forgetting of the pain. Trying to act like we're the villains for suffering in front of them, suffering they caused. Get over it, it happened a long time ago. Is that what you would say to someone that was thoroughly abused, broken, and stripped of their sense of self? How can we even begin to get over it when it's still happening, only different? Why should we disregard our pain and history? Because it makes you feel bad? Because you have to look at what you did? Not even a proper apology, no attempt at real amends. Even trying to force us to forgive and forget when nothing changes. Not to mention those co-signing this bullshit on a mass scale. Like when people try to get the victim to forgive the bully who is still a bully. A bully who continues to be coddled and never held accountable. Thankfully, there are also genuine friends and allies who don't ignore or contribute to this dog pile. Ones that ignite, unite, and fight with us. That's what we go through as Black Americans. We're strong, but nobody should have to be that strong. This strength came from pain nobody should have to experience. I wouldn't wish what happened to our people on anyone. So why do people continue to wish it on us? Make America great again. Is this the greatness you speak of? The lens of nostalgia really hits different, don't it? It's funny what you see as great, I see as dreadful. White Americans today have varied stances on Black history. Some acknowledge our history, some don't care. Some minimize it, some actively try to suppress it. Some feel guilt over it. Some advocate for reparations. Some play white savior. The list goes on and on. It's frustrating to bear the responsibility in association with someone else's crimes. People don't get to choose what family or background they're born into. It's luck of the draw, and you still inherit their genes. In this case, white Americans of today inherited the legacy and product that is the USA. Inheriting it means it's up to you on how you handle it. Not making a choice is a choice. You choose whether you maintain and sustain this or you look to change it. If you choose to look away and continue to benefit off the system your ancestors created, that's your choice. This system comes at a cost even today. Just because you didn't build it doesn't mean you don't use it. The bodies will still continue to pile up because of the system. You may think you have nothing to do with it, so why should you care? I'll make an analogy. Think of this system you inherited as genes. The system being white supremacy, capitalism, colonialism, and the patriarchy. Think of the USA as a human body, and the genes are the foundation. It all looks good on the surface, but what's happening inside? Because of these genes, say you have a weaker immune system and the body is more prone to sickness or conflict. A disease has taken hold of this body, and it slowly starts to spread. Nothing is different at first, but over time, more issues begin to crop up. You ignore the symptoms because it's not that big a deal. What happens when it becomes a big deal? Something that may have been preventable has now turned into a situation that is past the point of no return. Depending on when you actually acknowledge what's happening, greatly affects the outcome. Catching it right away can mean few to no long-term effects. Catching it halfway can result in multiple issues that will persist for a long period of time. Catching it near the tail end can result in life-lasting effects, if not death. The consequences of ignoring problems can be dire. This situation that your ancestors passed on to your generation may end with you as you know it. Evolution and natural selection are necessary elements for change. It's hard to keep what's killing you, and this system is killing us. So, that is the script. And I also have a note to read, one that I wrote a few days ago. And I think it fits well with this when it comes to acknowledging stuff, realizing and facing the truth of things. And this is note number 90. The truth can be bitter like medicine. That's how you know it's good for you. But too much medicine can become poison. Always mind the dosage and time of consumption. So, too much of anything can kill you, right? Even the truth. But the truth will set you free. Living a lie has weak foundations because it's fake, it's not real. But living the truth, that's scary, but it's real. It's grounded. Too much of anything at once can cause more harm than good. That's why, rather than just ignoring things, actually taking the time to learn things, even if it's slowly, to where you build more of a tolerance up to it, where you can actually consume more. I don't want to over-explain the note. But always mind the dosage and time of consumption. If you feel like you need to take a break from the truth, that doesn't mean ignoring it. That just means it's just like, okay, let me sit with what I've learned, actually absorb it, not let all of it slam me all at once and overwhelm me of all the things that needs to be done, all the things that need to be addressed, all the things that need to be fixed. Let me do baby steps, work my way up. I think that's a good way of approaching the truth. Like medicine. And the truth can be bitter. That's how you know what's good for you. Anyway, let me go back and read the references. Let me go into here so I can read them directly. I'm going to start with my first source. And the name of this is Myths and Understanding Slavery in the United States. And that is on acwm.org, which is the American Civil War Museum.org. Second source, The Horrors of Slavery, 1805. And this is located at gildermanlerman.org. Third source, The Slave Experience, Men, Women, and Gender, 13.org, also known as PBS. Rest in peace, rest in power. Fourth source, Alligator Bait, May 2013. This is found on This is found on Jim Crow Museum. Ferris? Hold on. No, I need to see. Well, it's on Jim Crow Museum, their website. The 5th source is Human Leather, April 2013, also at the Jim Crow Museum website. The 6th source is A Brief History of Civil Rights in the United States, Reconstruction in Jim Crow Eras. And this is from Howard University. 7th resource is Emmett Till's Death Inspired a Movement. And that is by NMAAHC.si.edu. The Smithsonian's Natural Museum of African American History and Culture. There it is. Okay. What number is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th source is The Murder of Emmett Till. And this is in the Library of Congress.gov. The 9th source is What Happens When You Neglect Your Health, and that is integrishealth.org. And why do I feel like I'm missing one? The 10th source is Primary Immunodeficiency by the mayoclinic.org. Okay. I need to check to see if I got all the sources because I'm pretty sure there's one missing. And I don't have it as an open tab anymore. Let me pause and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I lied. There was only 10. There's only 10 references. Only 10 sources. Alright. I'm gonna put the script, what I wrote, so that it can be read in written form. Well, no shit, how else do you read? Wait. No, audiobooks are listening to books, not hold on. No, I'm right. Written source. Written or printed source. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave it there. Oh my god, I forgot my outro. Damn, hold on. I'm finding it. Well, you can like the video if it resonated with you, if it was something that you liked, thought it sparked interest, whatever may be the case, if you liked it. Leave a comment if that's what you feel like doing, and maybe subscribe if you feel called to do so. Bye!